It's 2026. It's cold outside, but the action on the pitch is heating up as Arsenal have beaten Bournemouth 3-2 to stay top of the Premier League. But other results have ensured that we now have a 6-point gap over our rivals. We're going to look back at the Bournemouth game as well as the other games over the Christmas period that we've missed in our little break, but also look at our rivals' results. We're then going to take a look at the big game this Thursday night in the Premier League as Arsenal host Liverpool at the Emirates. We're looking for revenge after that 1-0 defeat at Anfield to that Dominic Szoboszlai free kick. Can we get it? And how are we going to go about getting that victory? All this to come on episode 35 of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Welcome to episode 35 of Red Lines Half Spaces. My God, it is cold outside. If you're in the UK, you are freezing your parts off, if we call it that. But here's someone to warm us up on these chilly days. It's the return of the co-host, Joe. Joe, how are you doing, my friend?
Wow, yeah, that was arguably, in 35 episodes, that might have been your most fluid introduction that you've done so far. So hats off to you. 2026 is providing good things for you.
Already, you know what the cold weather is as well, because obviously I could get that in. But how you been, Joe? And a little note, congratulations are in order, Joe. Do you want to just fill us in on some personal news?
Yeah, so I didn't think that moving house and having a child in 1 year was enough, Yem. So we decided to pop the question. And thankfully, she said yes. So
I thought she said no. That's why we were on here for the gossip. You know, I thought she said no.
You've come to the wrong place, mate. I'm over to live a very boring lifestyle now, I have to say. But thank you very much, mate. No, so we completed the hat-trick last year.
I know. Maybe we'll complete the hat-trick of trophies.
But we just decided, you know what? Let's just bag all three in one hit. So that's what we did.
Maybe we can get more trophies, more celebratory things in May, hopefully. Big celebrations coming.
I wanted to keep 2026 clear for the big event,
I know. And obviously, Joe has already asked me to be best man. I knew it was a tough choice, but I was, I'm joking.
I'm inundated with offers.
Hey, excuse me? No, I already know who. I have a guess who it's going to be.
Walid, Dim, you, everyone wants a piece of it. But
Dim and Walid are not even in this because in the photos, Dim and Walid won't be even in the shot. They will be
I'm thinking of making them flower girls or something like that.
Dim, Walid, I know you're listening. Flower girls. No,
it's a big job. Needs doing.
I mean, you're the last one of the original OGs, isn't it?
Yes, mate, I'm the last one to. Well, yeah. I've completed the set, but I'm the last one. Everyone's done.
You're the last one. That's it. We're all done. Wow. We thought we started off as young men coming into this.
So it was on me, wasn't it, for the Stag Do Vegas blowout when we're all far too old to be doing it,
mate. With the cost of living now. Maybe we'll do it on the budget while you're on a budget.
I'm sure sort of, I don't know, nothing against Brighton, but I'm sure that at this time of year is similar to Vegas.
Skegness, Skegness, John O'Groats, we've got
John O'Groats. We can just drive there and drive back. That's a 2-day adventure.
No, but congratulations, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And to your fiance, we've met her a few times and she's lovely. So many, many congratulations, Joe. Let's focus on the football. First of all, Happy New Year as well. I forgot to say that. Happy New Year to all our listeners as well. It has been a while. The New Year and Christmas have taken their toll, and obviously we could not schedule many recordings during this, but we are back. Joe, 2025 ended with, us being in a good position, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. In a general sense, how has 2025 been for you in terms of Arsenal? How have you assessed us? Obviously we had the end of last season and then the start of this season. How would you assess where we are?
We're in a stronger position as I can ever really remember us being, Yem, to be honest. I mean, was it 4 games we lost in the total of last season alone? So I mean, that included obviously the back end of, well, the start or end of 2024 as well. So, I mean, 4 losses last year. I think in the league, is it 1 loss this year?
One loss this year
So, I mean,
to Liverpool.
it's been phenomenal, mate. I
No,
mean,
two.
we're,
Sorry, it's two. It's two, isn't it? Because obviously Liverpool and Villa, isn't it?
yes, apologies, Liverpool and Villa. So, yeah, I'm not being funny, mate. We are, like I said before, I think we're in as strong a position as we could possibly be. The squad has been built now to do things like this, to put ourselves in positions where across 4 competitions we have a realistic chance now of winning every single one. It's not like we're going into sort of 4 competitions. We're saying, okay, we might win the Carabao, we could win the FA Cup, we might get 4th in the league, and Champions League would be nowhere, which we've done before. We've been in all 4 competitions, but never sort of been able to challenge all 4. Whereas now, if you look at the squad we've built, the way we're playing, the results that the team are producing, we are genuine contenders for all 4 of them trophies. Don't get me wrong, winning all 4, I think, is unrealistic because that is unprecedented. But we got a great chance, mate, and the squad's been built brilliantly, and I just hope we can kind of continue what we saw in 2025, build on that, and go to another level in 2026, which would put us in a sort of territory that we might, in my lifetime, haven't been in before.
Yeah, I think it's been an exceptional, exceptionally in the total. I mean, we got to a Champions League semi-final. It's a shame we couldn't, push that extra bound, but we had a very injury hit squad, and I think we should be proud of the players. We didn't go out with a whimper against PSG. We pushed them to the end. We should, I think, I keep saying this, and I said this on Latte Firm. If we had even Kai Havertz available, I think we would have won that Champions League tie overall, because I just think we were so close, really close. And in terms of quality, we looked so good. And if you look at that Real Madrid, those 2 legs, we were, tearing them apart. And, PSG are a different kettle. They won the trophy realistically. But in terms of from that round of 16, when they came through and their form started to, the final, we were probably the team that probably ran them the closest in terms of who could beat PSG. So I'm very positive. This year has started very well in terms of both we're top of the Premier League and the Champions League. Champions League, we've not been defeated, and that we've had some tough games already. We beat Bayern Munich convincingly. We've got another tough game coming in Inter, which is not going to be an easy game. But after we've only got 2 games left, and one of them is Kairat Almaty. So you'd assume that we'll be okay in the Champions League. But I think in the league as well, the league, and we're going to talk about this, the league is very tough this year. You look at it, how it's going this year, people are saying, oh, the quality has dumbed down. No, I think the quality overall has increased in terms of from your 20 to your 6 is definitely much tougher now than what it was before. It used to be in the years past that you could go to, the 20th in the league and it's a guarantee, isn't it? And this year showed it isn't. Wolves are not great, but they've been giving teams a game. So, yeah, I think we've done exceptionally well. But, Joe, let's cover the games that we've missed, because obviously we have been off a little bit, family commitments and New Year's and Christmas, etc. We'll start very quickly with the Brighton game. So Arsenal 2, Brighton 1. At home, no one ever thought this was going to be an easy game. Brighton are very much a team that can turn up on the day, can't they? They've got good players, a lot of quality, and it proved to be an awkward game, more so in the second half. But Joe, we started, we got the opening goal through Martin Odegaard, who got a very good goal, and we needed more from him and showed him that. And then an own goal by Ruter. But obviously, Arsenal being Arsenal can't do things simple. And obviously, Brighton got a goal through Diego Gomez, and it made it difficult for the last, half an hour or so. Just quickly, Joe, because this game is not really one that we need to gloss over. The next 2 are the ones we'll look at. How did you assess the Brighton game and, the performance? Because it wasn't amazing. I think we're still looking disjointed, aren't we?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it, mate. It was disjointed. I mean, when it went 2-0, I thought, yeah, okay, we're job done now, not a problem. But then we kind of, just recently, we've not been as watertight at the back as we were at the start of the season. So at the start of the season, 1-0 game over, done. We're not conceding the goal. Whereas just recently, in a couple of games, we've let in a few sloppy goals, and obviously we'll come on to sort of other games we've played recently. But no, we were comfortable. Brighton didn't really do a lot, but then we just had that sort of brain fart moment that we do sometimes. They obviously got their goal, and that made it sort of semi-difficult for the end of the game. But no, it was a job done performance, and like we kind of said in our previous podcast, you get so many fixtures over Christmas. We're not looking for brilliant performances every game. You just need to, with games every 3 days, you've just got to rack up wins. It doesn't matter how they come, and that was just another one ticked off the list, mate. So would have liked to see more, but appreciate kind of the situation we're in over Christmas and how quickly those fixtures come up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that came 2 days after Christmas, so you'd assume there would be some kind of lethargy, if you call it that, from the players, given it's and a lot of players. It showed around the Premier League. It wasn't a great day for Premier League flowing football, but the next game on the 30th of December did give us something. Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 1. Now, Joe, this was built up. This was built up quite heavily because obviously Aston Villa had been the form team in the league. They had been winning, I think it was 13 out of the last 13 games. They'd won all of them.
And 11 wins in a row, was it coming into the game?
11 wins in a row. They'd really been the form team, and they'd beaten us at Villa Park last minute. We talked about it in our previous podcast. And this was a bit of a revenge mission, but we didn't think that we would get the game that we did, especially after the first half. So, Joe, I mean, let's talk about that first half. Villa came out as they would do, pressing very hard, physical battle. And I thought, this is going to be a tough game, really tough. At the halftime, I just thought, wow, how are we going to get into this game? How is this going to play out? Because it was very much cat and mouse. Villa did a really good job in pressing us with that mid block, and then getting the ball quickly, bypassing the midfield effectively to Ollie Watkins, Sancho, who I thought was a bit of an odd choice given he hasn't played much in the Premier League, and then obviously attacking our back line very quickly. Ollie Watkins, I thought had a decent game, and we'll talk about his goal. But Joe, that first half, we lived a little dangerously, didn't we, I think?
Very much so, mate. Just before the Villa, I do want to shout out David Raya for that save from Minty in the Brighton game. Because without that, mate, we don't win that game.
Well, David Raya, and we're going to talk about his one as well. In this game as well, in the Villa game, he had a superb save as well, didn't he?
I mean, he's unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable.
That save of the season, is it? Save of the
season,
isn't it? I mean, that's a save of the season, isn't it? That Minte one.
Unreal, mate. I've never seen. He was full stretch. I mean, that is, like you said, save of the season stuff, mate. Unbelievable save. So shout out to him, because I only just remember, but without him, we don't win that game. Simple as that. So but on the Villa game, mate. The first half wasn't great, was it? That sort of opening 15, 20 minutes, maybe not 20, but 15 minutes roughly. The amount of times that our midfield was just bypassed. Onana was just running through there. Tielemans was just picking gaps with so much ease. And there was a handful of times where it was just Villa were just streaming through straight onto our back four. I was thinking, what on earth's going on here? And there was just, our midfield was non-existent in the game, mate, in that sort of opening 15. But we gradually, I think, grew into the half. We got better. I don't think we wasn't playing well by any stretch.
No.
And realistically, Villa should have been 1-0 up with the Watkins chance quite early on. But he seems to have those moments. He scores against us, but he misses an awful lot of chances against us as well.
But he's getting the chances. I mean, the thing is, he's getting the chances, and he usually and he did put one away. We'll talk about it, but he put one away. But obviously, he had a lot of chances, as you just said, Joe. I mean, it wasn't that first half. I looked at it and went, "We're lucky to go in 0-0." To be honest,
I agree, mate. But I find it quite surprising that Watkins misses. He doesn't miss easy. Well, you could say they're easy chances. There's sort of chances that you expect a striker to score. But he seems to miss quite regularly against us. He could probably have double the amount of goals he had if you look at the chances that he's had. Like, I remember a few years ago, David Raya obviously made like a worldie save against him at Villa Park. Yeah. He missed it at this time. Raya made another worldie save when it come off the bar, and he saved that. So, it's a weird one. He scores goals, but he's missed a load as well. So I don't think he's a volume striker. I don't think he's a volume striker, is he? But he gets the important goals, doesn't he, for Villa? I mean, exactly that.
That's the thing. I mean, it showed in the game in their previous game, because obviously, he's their top scorer, and he looked a bit off, off kilter at the start of the season, but he's come back really well. But Joe, the second half, wow, complete turnaround, and I think it was I think it started with Onana coming off. I think, as you said, Onana was running through our midfield, but they switched out to McGinn. Now, John McGinn's a good player, but he's not Onana, and they needed Onana there to press against us. Let's caveat that as well. Declan Rice did not play in this game, and that was a big one because, and we'll talk about Declan in a minute, but with Declan out, Onana being out, I thought you had the two main protagonists who could really transition that midfield, those midfields properly. And without that, I think Villa certainly struggled. And for Arsenal, it made it easier to get at the Villa back line. And we got our breakthrough goal through who else but the returning Gabriel. First set piece with Gabriel. And it was do you know what? Do you know why it was beautiful, Joe? Because this is it. This is what I love about football. Emi Martinez, what? And I'm not going to use the expletive because I'm going to try and avoid it because I want to keep this for most of the audience. But did you see his warm-up? Did you see his pre-match warm-up?
I did.
The tunnel walk. Who has done that? What in his mind goes through? Right, I need to do my stretches, but I'm going to do them in the tunnel. Obviously, at the Emirates, if you don't know and you haven't been to the Emirates now in this season, the Emirates now used to have a material-based tunnel that let the players on the pitch, but you didn't see what was going on in the walkout area. Now that's been removed because they want fans to interact. They want to, get the emotions. But Emi Martinez decided to do his stretch routine in that tunnel and block everybody coming out to the pitch. It was the weirdest thing I've seen a player do to inciting the opposition. What did you make of that Emi Martinez? And we'll talk about the goal in a second.
He just plays into that pantomime villain role so well, doesn't he? It's what he does. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he does know.
He's obviously just feeding into that role that he's sort of worked himself into, and he loves it. And he's very good at it, to be fair. I mean, it's very easy for me to sit here and sort of laugh about it and sort of say, oh, he's very good at being a villain. When we smash them 4-1, I'm sure if we'd lost the game, I'd be saying very different things. But no, I mean, he's just doing what Emi Martinez does. He's a bit of a clown, likes to try and wind people up. And he was just doing that, mate, wasn't he? He was just being awkward, as you'd expect.
He was doing that through the whole game. He was delaying the kicks, wasn't he? His goal kicks. He does that all the time. But then obviously this kind of retribution was beautiful. When the goal came, it was Gabriel. Emi Martinez went up, missed it completely, and Gabriel got it in. It was competing for the ball, but it went in. Emi Martinez fell to the floor, and what we expect from Emi Martinez, he looked at the referee with this kind of vacant expression, going, Is that going to be a foul? No foul given. Beautiful way to open it up. And Emi Martinez flat on the floor. We love that kind of stuff, don't we, Joe?
And do you know what my favourite thing of that goal was, mate? That if you watch it back, was it Saka, I think, took the corner, didn't he? As that ball's coming in, you hear a massive shout from Martinez of like Emmy's ball or Emmy's or something like that. And you hear him, and then the next thing you know, the ball's in the back of the net, and that just makes it even better. So if you haven't noticed that, watch it back because it is.
I will now. I didn't watch that, but do you know what? That makes it even sweeter, doesn't it? Because he's got that arrogance. He thinks he's going to come out. He ain't no damn guy.
The Brazil-Argentina rivalry as well, that feeds into it a little bit, obviously. So no, it is brilliant, mate. I love this sort of thing. Like it reminds me of when Jorginho slapped the ball off the bar and it went off at the back of his head and in, things like that. It's just. Good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And this is just a great example of it.
It is that karma moment, isn't it? And then we get our second goal through a fabulous through ball from Martin Ødegaard to Martin Zubimendi, of all people, who hasn't scored since he got his 2 against Nottingham Forest. But it was a fabulous through ball and a great little deft finish from Zubimendi. That was a good way to get ahead, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate, it's all finished that I wasn't aware Zubimendi had in his locker. Obviously, I saw the volley at the start of the season. Was against Forest, I think it was, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Obviously, unbelievable technique, but you could believe he's capable of that. But running through one-on-one to finish with such sort of composure and finesse, brilliant finish. I mean, it's the sort of finish that you'd want to see from our centre forward, who we've spoken about quite a lot this year. But
I think we'll have to talk about him again because
I think we probably will, mate. But he took it brilliantly. It was a great run. We turned the ball over nice and high, and it was brilliant from Ødegaard, who had a fantastic game against Villa, and he's looking good at the moment, Martin Odegaard, because he's brilliant against Brighton as well.
Yeah, and then our third goal came from one of the best players of this year, and I'm humble enough to admit, I'm eating crow at the moment because Leandro Trossard has been one of the best players of the season, and he got a really good goal here from a pickup on the edge of the area, nice little curled shot from the outside. Trossard is one of the best strikers of the ball at the club. We know that. And it's just another fabulous example of it. And this season, he has been delivering consistently, not just goals, assists, but his overall play. He's a clever player. And I said this on the Latte Firm as well. He's so clever in his movement. He knows he's in that moment now where he knows I don't need to beat a man. I just need to move correctly, and I'll lose my man, and I've got that kind of shooting technique that I can get a shot away, isn't it, Joe?
I say all the time, he's just a numbers man, isn't he? And not only now is he the numbers man, but like you said, mate, he's been one of our players of the season this year. And I do wonder whether age has a bit of a part to play in it. You think he's getting sort of older now? He probably doesn't have long left in terms of playing at the highest level at a club like Arsenal. And I wonder whether that's what his motivation is this year. He thinks this might be my last chance. This 1, maybe 2 years.
He doesn't need it, but he doesn't need pace, does it? He's such a clever player, isn't he? Though
no, he's brilliant. The way his body feints, the way he sort of moves his body around the ball, manipulates opponents just by his body movements, is fantastic, mate. It really is, and he has been sensational this year, and all credit to him, because there was a bit of discourse, wasn't there, around that increased pay that he got, and sort of no longer actually on the contract itself, just got more money. But now, I mean, it looks totally justified, doesn't it? And you could probably argue he probably deserves a bit more money. But yeah, he's been sensational. It was another brilliant goal. And the big criticism of him was that when he wasn't sort of producing goals, he was non-existent in games. But now I think he's even playing a part in games. He's defending really well. He's really contributing to the team. And when he's going forward at the moment, mate, he looks like he's going to make something happen every single time, be it an assist, be it a goal. Anytime he's around the box now in that final third, you just think something's going to happen. And that's what we was crying out for from him. And the fact that he's dislodged Martinelli, he's kept sort of, I know Madueke had an injury, but he's kind of kept him out as well. And he's really cemented that left side now as he's the starting man. And yeah, he's been brilliant, and he hasn't showed any signs of slowing down. I mean, at points, I guess a lot of fans have probably thought, okay, he's on a bit of a run at the moment, but we know it will come to an end. But this has been since the start of the season, mate. We're halfway through now, and he's still producing. So let's just hope he can keep up in the second half, because he's not only sort of chipped in with goals at kind of 4-0s when games are over, he's been scoring important goals and creating goals when games are tight and we need a breakthrough. And he's been the man to do it more often than not this year. So fair play to him. He's been absolutely brilliant.
So here's a question for you. His contract expires next year. Would you look to extend that further? Or is it kind of, he's having a good season, but it's a risk given his age? How would you approach his contract situation? Because he will look for an extension, no doubt, end of the season. He won't want to go into the last year of that contract if he wants to stay at Arsenal without some kind of guarantee. What would you say in that? For me,
context? I mean, if he continues performing the way he is, I think it's a no-brainer to extend it, because it's a win-win for us, the way I'm looking at. Because if he continues that form, we give him an extension, and then he carries on that form next year, brilliant. If he sort of gets that extension, given the year that he's had, someone might come in and make an offer for him. So, yeah, I'd be tempted to give him a contract late and extend it, just because I think he's been brilliant. How can you not? If he kind of keeps producing at the rate he is at the moment, and he arguably is one of the contributing factors to firing us towards silverware at the end of the end of the season, you've got to keep him. I think it'd be. I think if this was any other player, if it wasn't Trossard, we would be saying you have to keep him. But because it is Trossard, like you said, the age profile, maybe sort of what we've seen from him previously, maybe a bit of scar tissue there, as him sort of the kind of non-existence in games at times. But If he can produce at this level for an entire season, I think you extend it. And if he then can produce again the following season, happy days. But no, for me, I think just you reward him for how good he's been this year. And like I said, man, I just pray it continues.
Yeah, I think if his form continues into the second half of the season and he can help us deliver a title, I think it's a no-brainer because, again, he's a very useful player to have on the bench, even if he does go to the bench. Obviously we would look at the left wing and we're going to discuss our winter transfer plans. But Joe, the final goal for Arsenal in this 4-1 game came from Gabriel Jesus. What a way to come back into the game. First touch, pretty much. No backlift, into the corner. Amazing goal, wasn't it? And a great way for Jesus to grab his first goal on his return.
Jesus rose at Christmas, mate. That's what he did this year. He decided Christmas was the time to come back. So, yeah, what a brilliant finish, mate. But this is what frustrates the life out of us. Jesus is capable of this. That he can do that. But you can guarantee that over the coming weeks, he's going to miss a sitter at some point. He's going to frustrate the life out of you. He's going to hold on to a ball for too long before he shoots. Yeah. And it's just the circle of life with Jesus, unfortunately. He is capable of doing these things. And I won't go into too much of kind of him letting us down previously in the injuries, but more just kind of what a moment for him to kind of come back again from another really severe injury, the sort of injury that ends careers. For him to come back into the side, for him to take that goal as well as he did, it's a magic moment for him, mate. I'm really happy for him. And we don't need a Jesus to play 90% of the games this year, but if he can contribute, if he can play 90 minutes once a week, come off the bench in other games half an hour just to kind of help with rotation, that's all we need from him, I think, to kind of take the burden off of a Havertz and a Gyökeres. And it could be a beautiful thing come the end of the year if that kind of works. But my big fear is that obviously Mikel has these sort of moments where he doesn't rotate as much as we'd like him to. And we know what that could mean for Jesus. So, yeah, I'm trying to protect myself from the hurt of another injury coming and him being out for a prolonged spell. But we just have to kind of make the most of him and enjoy him while he's here.
Yeah, I think it was a great goal, but I think every Arsenal fan is kind of tempered by the history of Jesus' injuries. So I think there's, it'd be great to see him score a few goals, get a few appearances and contribute, but I think we're all wary. And then Villa obviously
give him what would you, if say come May we win the league, how many goals do you think you would want from Jesus to contribute to us to kind of get to that level?
I think a realistic one is 5. It's not too much. It's not, but I think those kind of goals will be important. If he can contribute, because we know Jesus' main thing is not his goal scoring ability; it's his ability to find space and pull defenders out into positions where they don't like it. He's not really a striker. He's more in it. That kind of new kind of centre forward, if you call it that, the one that like Havertz. Havertz is not an orthodox centre forward. He likes to pull a different position. So I think 5 goals is realistic. What would you say, Joe?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think between 5 and 10. I think what's brilliant is the difference. Obviously, Gyökeres he's sort of playing like a bit of a battering ram at the moment. He's physical with defenders. He might not win all the duels, if any, but he gives the defenders a bit of a hard time. He's always up against them, running shoulder to shoulder.
Hold your Victor Gyökeres, because we've got the Victor Gyökeres.
That's coming, I know. But then to be able to, obviously with half hour left in the game, to bring on Jesus, who then the defenders have been through this kind of rigorous hour, if you like, of battling against a centre forward. And then to bring on a really clever player like Jesus, who can just find pockets of space and just pop up all across the pitch. It just gives them a completely different thing to then try and concentrate on when you've already been battling for an hour. So I like the kind of chalk and cheese approach of our 2 centre forwards. I think they offset each other quite nicely.
I'm interested when Havertz comes back fully and how he will. Yeah, the thought is that Havertz will be the first choice when he's fully fit and match fit, because obviously you look at his quality, he's probably the most likely to. But obviously each of them have got a different skill set. obviously Villa get a goal back through Ollie Watkins. Who else in the 93rd minute? I think we had dropped our level then, didn't we? Really, Gabriel gone off. I think that just compromised us a little bit there, and obviously Villa got a goal back, but the job was done already, wasn't it, Joe? This one was not really anything Villa were going to get anything from, was it?
Unfortunately, mate, it was one of them games where I think the 8 minutes added on is what killed us.
I don't
really.
know where that came from.
I mean, how we only had sort of 3 or 4 minutes at the end of the first half when the ball was out of play for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, they're adding on 8. I don't really get it. But yeah, we'd really dropped off by that point. I think Villa kind of kept the ball for about 5-10 minutes before they got their goal. It was just sort of, we was camped back on the edge of our box. We were kind of done. Frustrating because 4-0 would sound like a real hiding. I think 4-1 doesn't sound as impressive. I mean, it doesn't really matter ultimately because you get 3 points, but it would have been nice to keep that clean sheet, and a 4-0, it just sounds far more emphatic than a 4-1. But yeah, I think if Gabriel had stayed on, we don't concede that goal. But grand scheme of things, at the start of the day, if you said to me, you're going to beat Villa 4-1, I wouldn't be complaining about conceding the goal. So
I don't think any of us were thinking that, were we, really? No. So I think we were very happy with the result. And then this past weekend, we went to the South Coast, and Bournemouth. Tough place to go. Very tough. And it proved to be a tough game. And the result ended 2-3. We won away. But yeah, we weren't at our best here, Joe, were we? We got 2 goals through Declan Rice and a Gabriel goal. And obviously Evan Nielsen and Krupi scored for Bournemouth. But this game was not great, was it, Joe, in terms of the Arsenal performance overall? They scored first through a pretty bad pass-back attempt by Gabriel, which was intercepted by Evan Nielsen. You do not give a clever striker like that any reason to feed off a ball, and he did. And he scored straight away, and it set the tone, because I think Brighton actually played really well. They were energetic, creating chances for that, in that first half. They looked very good, didn't they, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it is very uncharacteristic from Gabriel, wasn't it? That's sort of the thing that he might have done sort of when he first signed for us.
Yeah.
I've watched it back a few times, Gemma, and at the time, I, for the life of me, could not work out what he was trying to do there. And I've watched it back a few times, and I think the only thing I think he could be trying to do potentially is Timber was making his way from right back into sort of like that kind of 6 position that he does. And I wonder whether he's trying to sort of sweep it into him and just got it horribly wrong. But
Joe, I think you're being really kind there, because no, it was a complete balls up, wasn't it?
What can I say? He's the king of Brazil, so it's so unlike him. But the thing about Gabriel is he is almost inevitable, because as soon as that mistake happened, with Arsenal teams gone by, I'd be thinking, oh Christ, like that's the end. This is going to be a really difficult game now. But when he done it, I thought, he's probably going to score at some point in this game from a corner. So
he didn't score from a corner, did he? He scored from
lo and behold, sort of, what was it, about 10 minutes it took, I think. Brilliant play by Madueke, by the way, on the right-hand side.
I thought he had a really good
absolutely
game.
Outstanding. The way he got past Semenyo and then beat, I think it was Truffert, just with a little toe past him. Brilliant play from him. I absolutely loved what he done there. And Gabriel, again, what a finish that is, by the way. That he's hit that so well. And I don't want to go into slander mode yet, but I don't think our centre forward finishes that chance. Then the fact Gabriel does, it was just an outstanding finish, and speaks volumes to how much of a leader and how important and how much sort of mental strength that man has, and the impact he has on this team is outstanding.
How important he is. He's so important, isn't he, into that team? We saw it. Look, Pierre Nkapie's done a really good job in holding the fort, but he's not Gabriel, and he knows that as well. He knows it. Everyone knows it. Gabriel's a different defensively, offensively as well. This was not his typical, set piece goal. This was him being in the area and the determination to get on the end of it. And as you said, Madueke, really well done. I really liked him. I think the thing is with Madueke, he's got all the tools to be a really, really dangerous player. It's just that final ball that needs to be sorted, doesn't it? And again, that's something that can be coached, isn't it? I think Mikel really likes these players. It reminds me of Sane and a few other players that, need to be coached in that last third, if you call it that, of the play, isn't it? I mean, he's done really. He can beat a man at will, can't he? You know, with
mate. That
skill.
Sane comparison's a great shout from you because he's similar attributes. He's got so much pace. I mean, I doubt there's many people who can go with him because weirdly, he's one of those players who actually look quicker when he's got the ball at his feet than when he's just running.
Yeah.
He's absolutely electric, mate. That sort of first 5-10 yards and he's gone. Like no one is keeping up with him. But I think your comparison, mate, is spot on because he's got all similar attributes to Sane. And I think if he can, he's only 23. He's got Bukayo Saka there with him to learn from as well. We obviously got Trossard, who's an experienced player who we've seen what he can do in front of goal. So he's got all the players around him to really help him develop. And I think if he does kind of over the next couple of years work on that end product, what a player we could have on that side. I mean,
and he's got the tool.
Well.
He's got the tools. Look at the Bruges game. The Bruges game, he scored 2 different goals. One absolute rocket, and the other was a header. He's got the tools. It is kind of just very raw on the finishing, isn't it? At the moment, that final ball is very raw at the moment, isn't it?
That's exactly what he's made. If he can improve that end product, I mean, it could go stratospheric. Like he's got everything else he needs. He's strong. He's quick. He can beat a man. He's got skills. Even the chance he had when he dribbled into the box, the finish again was a little bit wild. You just wanted him to kind of sort of curl it side foot into that corner.
Yeah.
But that comes, look at Saka. That's the sort of thing he would do, cut in and just whip that ball in with his left foot. So he's got the perfect role model there, the perfect person to learn from. And I think people forget he's only 23, but he's still very young because he seems to have been around for a long time because obviously he was at PSV, wasn't he, before he went over to Chelsea. So yeah, really excited by him, mate. And again, what an amazing thing for us to have someone who we can go, do you know what, Bukayo? Sit this one out. We'll bring Noni Madueke in. And he has a performance like that.
And he's done that. He's done that regularly now, hasn't he? For the first time, Bukayo Saka has not been starting. He started 50%, I think. 6 games Bukayo started and 4 games for Madueke. So it's definitely a good chance for rotation. And those are your 2 left wingers, aren't they? For right wingers for England, pretty much. Those are your first 2 choices, aren't they? Really, because of the quality they can bring. But then we have to talk about another player who is probably as more instrumental to Arsenal, and that is Declan Rice, with 2 goals. The Villa game he missed because of a swelling he got an injury and a swelling that he got from the Brighton game. This game showed why he is so integral to Arsenal. Mika Marina's a decent player. In midfield, I don't think he's as good as what he can be. But without Declan Rice, we don't look the same, do we, Joe?
No, we'll just look at the first half against Villa. That shows you what Declan Rice brings because you can guarantee if Onana was making, well, he wouldn't be making them runs through because Declan Rice would be on him. And that was the big difference. And we've all said for so many times how good Declan Rice has been and how sort of we got him half price as the song goes and all that kind of stuff. But what we've really wanted to see from Declan is contributions at that end of the pitch, at top end of the pitch, goals and assists, because he's good enough to do it. Gets in those positions regularly. He's got the energy. He's got the engine to get up and down. And
the shot as well. He's got the shot as well. He's got the shot as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at the goal against West Ham last year or the year before. You got the free kicks against Real Madrid. The man can strike a ball. And the way he finished both chances, really, against Bournemouth, kind of just, they give you a glimpse into what Declan could be if he's able to regularly find those positions on the edge of the box, because he's got a cracking technique, mate, when it comes to sort of that like side foot finish. So we just need to get him in those positions. And I think when we first got him, he was seen as he was going to be the number 6 in that system. But the way he's been playing, and Mika must have seen in training that he was just capable of more. And that's what we've done now. We brought Zubamendi in, gone, okay, you're the 6th Declan. You're going to 8 and you're going to influence games at both ends of the pitch rather than just be this player who breaks things up. And arguably, mate, so far, not just our player of the year, but you could argue he's the player of the year in the league, because I don't think he's had a performance so far that's been under an 8 out of 10.
Well, here's the question that I raised on the Late Night Latte a couple of weeks ago. Or, Rodri is rightly regarded as one of the best midfielders in the world. But he's a six. He's a true six.
Mm.
I think Declan is the complete midfielder because I look at the overall good engine, transitions well, defends well, set pieces, delivery, his constant delivery, goals as well. For me, and I'm not disparaging Rodri. I think Rodri has rightly been the Ballon d'Or player of the year, but I think Declan for me is a better overall midfielder. I think Rodri's passing is much better. There's no doubt of that. But the rest of them, I think Declan is right up there. Where would you put him in relation to the best midfielders in the world?
I think you have to say he's up there at the moment, mate.
Who else can do what Declan Rice does? Is there anyone else who can do what Declan Rice does?
This was going to be my point, mate. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any midfielder who can defend like Declan Rice does and attack like Declan Rice does. Don't get me wrong. If you used to put him up against sort of the best number 10s, he can't attack as well as them. If you used to put him up against the best number 6s, he can't defend as well as them. But as a general all-round midfielder, like if you go back to late 90s, early 2000s, and you had two midfielders and they could do everything, I don't think there's anyone better than him in that position to affect the game in both boxes. I think Rodri, obviously pre-injury Rodri, was the outstanding sort of number 6 in world football. But I think Declan's kind of evolved now. I don't think he's a number 6 anymore. I think he's, like I said before, he's developed his game, he's moved on, and he's now just making things happen in both boxes. And off the top of my head, you've got Jude Bellingham, who's a very good young midfielder who can do things sort of in the attacking third, but questions maybe defensively.
Assists as well. I mean, if you look at Declan Rice's assist record,
set pieces,
again, his numbers
incredible.
Exactly. And I think this is the thing that he's so good. And I think Zubamendi, I keep saying it, Zubamendi has elevated Rice in terms of he's not having to do as much anymore of the dirty work, the defending, etc., the dropping into the 6, because the midfielder we had last year, obviously, I'm not going to, we all know who it was, the number 5, wasn't great at staying in position. He used to just roam all over the pitch, and Declan had to do a lot of work for that. I think Zubamendi is a level above. He's calm, he moves it on, and Declan and him seem to have a really good relationship already, and I'm so glad that they're in a good age spot where they're going to be together for a couple of years and could evolve into one of the best midfield partnerships like we've seen at Arsenal. But this game, 2 goals, demonstrated why we have to keep him fit, especially for the big games. The rotation is going to be key. And we'll come into rotation in a second, but he is integral to it. And obviously with his 2 goals, we got 3 points. But coupled with that, Joe, is obviously the results that happened on the weekend. It was a beautiful weekend, wasn't it, Joe? I mean,
the glorious hate watch weekend was back.
It was. Apart from the Villa result, everything else went our way. Everyone else had terrible results. Tottenham. Let's start low down. We'll start low. Tottenham. Beautiful. Thought they'd got ahead and they were lapping it up, and then obviously they got slapped in the last minute, with a Brobby goal and drew with Sunderland. Love that. Then Liverpool, and we're going to talk about Liverpool in a second. But have you seen the video? Have you seen the video of the second goal and some fan channels? There's one that were like, well, they'd gone behind Liverpool to a goal from Wilson, and it was a really good goal. Well done. And there was a flag for offside. It wasn't offside. They pulled a goal back through who scored their first goal?
Wirtz, wasn't it?
Wirtz, and it was marginally onside. Marginally.
I mean, can we have a quick moment to talk about that not being onside?
It wasn't onside, but
the cut of the grass, mate, this is what drives me insane. We can see as people the cut of the grass. Wirtz's foot is very obviously offside. So why?
And he knew he was offside as well. He stopped, didn't he? He looked at it. He had the look of I'm offside.
This is the sort of thing, mate, that makes people say this VAR's corrupt, because for the lines and all the technology used, there's still a human behind it using it. So mistakes still happen, and that's kind of been swept under the carpet because of the result. But yeah, that's a bit of a concern to me seeing that happen.
Yeah, but obviously Liverpool went ahead through Cody Gakpo in the last 94th minute, and all the Liverpool fans, all the fan channels. If you get a chance to watch fan channels, it's a beautiful thing. They thought that's it, we've won, we've snatched it to death and all that. But then Harrison Reed, what a hit! And there's a look on one of the fan channels. They were talking like, "Yeah, we've won this. We're going to go 3-1," and then they hit it and they go, for like 30 seconds, they look at each other. It was an amazing hit, wasn't it? And the thing is, they've taken off Cody Gakpo to bring on another defender. Slot doing that tactical mastery that we know he is, and obviously Harrison Reed got a great goal. It was the only way. It was the only way it was going to be won, because obviously it was literally the last minute. So he absolutely leathered it, and it was an amazing shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, Cody Gakpo had his Richarlison moment, didn't he? Shirt off, I've won the game, and then down the other end, Harrison Reed. He will not hit a better shot than that in his life, mate. I was I was at work. Well, I say at work. I was in the gym, sort of whilst I was at work. Sorry to my employer. But and they had it on in the gym, and this goal went in, and looks around, and everyone just was like, because I could not believe
because
that strike, mate. Unbelievable. When he lined it up,
that was the poster stab, wasn't it? From that far out.
I was saying when he just took his leg back to hit that, I was like, "You idiot! You've got so much time. Clip it to the back post. What are you doing?" And then before all these thoughts had finished in my head, that ball just went crossbar and in, and I was like, "Wow, that is some way to get a result. Fair play to him. What a strike!"
Yeah, it was an amazing goal, and that obviously helped Fulham to get a 2-2 draw. Then we got to Man United. Oh dear, Man United. 1-1 against Leeds. A pretty dull game, actually, in which I thought Leeds were the better side. But this has obviously, and we'll talk about Ruben Amorim, but obviously the post-match presser was the thing that got everyone talking, because Ruben Amorim decided to go off piste, if we call it that, and absolutely go in on the management, Jason Wilcox, everybody, about I'm the manager, I should be making decisions, etc. And obviously we'd learned a couple of days ago that Enzo Maresca had done the same thing, and that didn't end well, and we're going to talk about his replacement as well. But Joe, let's get your brief thoughts. Oh, well, actually, we'll do that in a minute, because we're going to talk about the merry-go-round. But yeah, Man United, I mean, they're sixth. They're 3 points off the top four, but they're 3 points off 12th as well, isn't it? It's a weird one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, isn't the gap between, I think it's like 4th and 15th, isn't it about 5 points or something ridiculous? So, I mean, any team really in that kind of, everyone's got a chance at top four, everyone's got a chance of being near the bottom. It's just, like you said at the start of the show, mate, it's just highlights the quality in the league, how everyone's kind of caught up now. There isn't that kind of 4 run away with it, and then you'll have another 4 that will get the Europa, and then the rest are all kind of in and around it. You've got Arsenal, City, Liverpool obviously having a bit of a bad season. But then there's probably about another 10 teams there who are all very closely matched, and it just makes it really interesting. And hopefully these kind of teams can keep it up, mate, and we might get some new teams in the Champions League and the Europa League, and it just keeps it very fresh and keeps it very interesting for us. So long may it continue, mate, because like I said, there's a lot of quality in the league now, and even teams like Brighton, like Bournemouth, Villa have obviously had a bit of a resurgence from where they were a few years ago, and it just makes it a lot more interesting for us as fans, mate. And like I said, long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the big game of the weekend, Sunday, 5:30 at the Etihad, Man City versus Chelsea. I honestly thought Man City were going to batter Chelsea after that first half, but they only had got the 1 goal through to Johnny Reinders. But then the injury crisis that Daddy Pep had cried out afterwards occurred. Josko Guardiola went off with a leg break. It looks like he's out for 6 months, so we wish him well in his recovery. But Ruben Diaz also went off, and it looks like he's out for 6 weeks. Coincidentally, his girlfriend is out for 6 weeks in South Africa, so maybe that's the timing there. Just say, we understand, Ruben. We understand. But Joe, what transpired obviously when they brought on their reserve defenders, Ake and Kusanov, was that they would look much more open. Chelsea brought on Liam Delap, and they got a goal back through Fernandes. And honestly, when it went in, Donnarumma got his hand to it initially. And I thought, no way did you do that. He's such a robot. But obviously, he managed to get a toe. Fernandes got a toe on it, and it went 1-1. But I thought this was an example of, unfortunately, Man City had spurned a lot of chances, didn't they, to win the game? They should have been 3 or 4-0 up, shouldn't they, really? Even before the injuries.
Do you know this stunk off to me, mate? This stunk of like an Arsenal performance where we have a lot of the ball, a lot
really
of the chances, and we're just very wasteful. And you can almost... So when I was watching this, I was sort of thinking, if this was Arsenal playing, this would 100% end in a draw with a last-minute goal for the opposition. I was thinking, Man City, though, they don't sort of have this sort of luck. And then lo and behold, the game really kind of... I think Liam Delap was brilliant when he came on, mate, to be honest. I thought he was really, really good. Sort of just really making really intelligent runs, really sort of like hustle and bustle, and just really making the defenders work hard.
Just lodging, yeah.
He's just really he had a really good performance to him. And I was quite impressed. But yeah, when that 94th minute goal, mate, I could not believe it, because I was like, this. I thought this sort of behaviour was reserved for Arsenal. But to see it happen to Liverpool, and then 2 hours later it happens to City, I was just like, wow, what a day. You have to make the most of these days, yeah, because they don't come around.
What a weekend. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. And that's the point, that we have now opened we have gone from a 2-point gap, and it's swung 4 points to now a 6-point gap. Now, Joe, just quick thoughts on this. I said on the Latif, and we did a post-match reaction on Sunday with me and FK, this is too early. It's still well too early in the season to read anything into this. I'd look at it in April and say that's when it matters. How do you view it? Is a 6-point gap really beneficial at this point, or is it kind of it's nice, but don't read anything into it at the moment?
I think don't get me wrong, it's a nice thing to have, to be out in front by sort of a couple of wins. Nice, never going to say sort of no to that kind of thing. The only thing that it does is it just gives the media a chance to kind of put a bit more pressure on us, and that's not a bad thing. They are going to do that. If it was City 6 points ahead, if it was Liverpool 6 points ahead, they'd be saying the same thing. They'd be saying it's theirs to lose. So if it was one of them teams, Liverpool or City in the years gone by, 6 points ahead, we'd all be thinking it's looking bleak now. It is theirs to lose. And I think now a real sign of where this Arsenal side are at is, okay, can you cope with the same scrutiny that would be put on a Liverpool and a City in this position? So hopefully, like we said, in the seasons gone by, when we've been close, we've kind of learned from it. But no, like you, it's nice to have, but until we hit, my marker is usually 25 games, because I feel like that's kind of 3/4 of the season done. Once we get to 25, I then start to go, right, how are we looking? And if we're 6 points or more ahead at 25, then I start to get a little bit excited. At the moment, I'm still going to just remain calm for now. I've got ahead of myself before. I'm going to try my best to not do it again. And like the players say, it's very cliche, but we've just got to really just keep concentrating, taking it game by game, just keep getting the wins. And essentially what we've done really well, mate, this year, which we've not done for a long time, is put pressure onto City by getting those wins. We've not dropped points when we've had the chance to put a bit of pressure on them. In years sort of gone by, we'd maybe draw the game at Bournemouth, and then that would give City the impetus to go and beat a Chelsea. Whereas now we've got the win. They're thinking, right, we drop points in the week, we really need to win. And it just cranks up that little bit of pressure. And we saw what that does to teams, mate. So no, really sort of, it's a good place to be, but we've just got to kind of stay head on and just keep building on it.
Yeah, and obviously we now look to our next game on Thursday against Liverpool, which we'll talk about in a minute. I just want to touch upon a few points, Joe. Let's talk about the striker situation a little bit. I have gone hard in on Victor Gyökeres in the past. I will still go hard on him in this one, but there is a counter argument emerging around Victor Gyökeres's, and you put it rightly, usage as a battering ram within. Against Bournemouth, he created the space for a lot of for the goals. And Declan Rice has come out and said, without him, we're not going to get the space. He is not going to get, I don't think, 15 goals this season. I don't think he's a goal striker for the Premier League. What I think he is okay at, and I think it's something that Arsenal don't have, is someone to occupy the central defenders. In the past, it would have been the central defenders would be free to engage Saka or Trossard or Martinelli and double up and triple team them. But having Victor Gyökeres there draws defenders to him. And he's obviously creating that space for the midfield and for the wingers, which I think is valuable. So I think he has a role to play. I still don't think he is at the level for the Premier League, personally. I don't see it at the moment. Maybe he will make me eat crow and I will see him score, a hatful of goals. I just don't see it off him. I don't think he's got the physical movement. I don't think he's elite in his movement. He's pretty bland in it. But he does a job for that front line. Where do you see, what's your stance on Victor Gyökeres and this take at the moment? Because it's kind of a dual take that he's not good enough, but he will occupy defenders, or he's not good enough, we need to drop him, and, Havertz and Jesus are better strikers than him. Where do you see it?
It's a difficult one, mate, because I think you can be both. I think you can say you want more from him as a centre forward. But on the same token, I think you can also say that in moments, he's been good for us. I mean, let's not forget that without him, we probably would have had Marino up front for 6 months, having to play every single game. And I don't think we'd be in the position we are. No disrespect to Marino, but having to play that position every 3 days, I think probably would have killed him, to be honest. So, no, I think he's done. Don't get me wrong. You want more from him. You want him to score more goals. You want him to be sort of on the end of things more regularly than he is. But I think there is an argument to be made that the team benefits from him being in the starting 11, and the team are benefiting from him being there because, like we said, he is making runs and he is kind of going up against defenders, which is allowing more space for other people to come in and kind of have those match-winning moments like your Declan Rice's, Zubimendi making that run through the middle. Moments like that are things we've not really had before. So, yeah, it's a bit of a sit on the fence answer, I'm afraid, mate. But I think what he's doing at the moment, let's say it's fine at the moment. We want more, but he is contributing because I think if you look statistically, the team average more goals, more chances, all that sort of stuff when he's in it. Obviously, the sample size will be different once Jesus plays more regularly, once Havertz plays more regularly, and then maybe we can compare him to the other options. But at the moment, I think if we just look at it as a very simple thing of saying he gave us a centre-forward option when we had no one else, scored a few goals, then I'd argue he's been worth the money up until this point. But we need to see a little bit more, and then hopefully we might have a better centre-forward on our hands. But I think for the time being, we can be satisfied rather than happy. How about that for a diplomatic answer?
Okay, no, fair. That is a very diplomatic one, Joe, but we'll take it as that. We'll see how Victor Gyökeres does. I mean, again, I still don't think he's the level, but I see what he's doing and he can deliver. If he can help deliver a Premier League title, then you can't argue with that because he will have contributed massively towards that. Joe, the other piece of discussion I want to have is around the manager merry-go-round has started. Was it the weekend, just after the weekend's games? Enzo Maresca left Chelsea disagreements with the board by the looks of it around the managerial role. And then a similar kind of incident occurred with United and Ruben Amorim leaving, saying, I am the manager, I should be allowed more freedom and the right to, make decisions. What I'm seeing, Joe, is that there is an onus at the top level. The managers of the top clubs want more control, like Slot, like Arteta has, like those managers have. Where do you sit with this? Because obviously, Man United don't have that model. They are very much, you are the head coach, and Jason Wilcox, who is in situ, is the sporting director, and he will buy the players. You just fit them into your system. And it's the same at Chelsea. Have got a very different model where they will buy a heap of players and say, just deal with it. It is now down to, so obviously Chelsea have just appointed Liam Rosenior as their new manager from their affiliate club Strasbourg. So that'll be interesting to see, because I think he's very inexperienced at the top level. Where do you see those 3 points? So Maresca, Amorim wanting more control, the mess at Man United, and then obviously Liam Rosenior coming in. I know that's a lot to put on you, but I know you'll be able to unpack that.
Let's start with the Chelsea merry-go-round. I think Maresca was in a far stronger position to go at the board, if you like, than Amorim was. Obviously, coming off the back of winning the Club World Championship trophy, Mickey Mouse.
Even though it's a friendly tournament, it's a friendly
he won
tournament.
That, but he won. I think he won 2 trophies, didn't he? So
the conference league, yes, that third level,
a trophy. But so he was in a position where I think he had a bit more kind of leverage, if you like, to kind of go at the board and say, look, you need to support me and whatnot. But equally, I think you have to be a bit mad, because Chelsea do not mess about when it comes to managers. They don't think about things twice. If they decide they want a new manager, they go, right, you're out, next one, let's get him in. And in fairness to Chelsea, maybe not so much in recent years, but you could argue that it's worked for them, because they've always, in the recent years, sort of from 2005, 6 onwards, there's been a bit of a merry-go-round in terms of managers, but they've picked up trophies along the way. I mean, I don't really remember Chelsea ever having like a massive trophy drought in that time. So it's a system that works for them. So I think Maresca has probably been a bit silly, if he wanted to keep that job, by doing that to Chelsea, because, like I said, they would have no problem with getting rid of it. Good luck to Liam Rosenior going in there. I think that the general consensus is he probably won't last very long. Hopefully we're wrong, because he's a young manager coming in, and you don't want to see people kind of fail. So good luck to him, but it's not an enviable position. It's not a club that screams out, we give opportunities to young managers to come here and build teams and work their way into the game. That doesn't happen at Chelsea. So I think he's on a bit of a hide into nothing, but hopefully we're wrong.
Well, can I ask a question? So obviously he's at their affiliate club, Strasbourg, and he's had an okay record. He's done pretty well considering the resources. But this is a different bag, isn't it? You're talking big personalities, a lot of pressure on him to deliver. He's had an okay record in the French league, and the French league is dross. We all know that. It's dominated by one team effectively. What do you think will happen look, we don't want a young manager to fall by the wayside, and I hope he does well enough after playing us. Let me just caveat that. But what do you think? How do you think he'll do given his previous record? He was the assistant manager at Derby, had an interim job there. At Hull, he was let go after, 13 games? But Hull are a bit of a mess. And then obviously Strasbourg, he's been doing reasonably okay. Where do you see him fitting in at Chelsea, and how do you think he'll do?
Hard to say, mate. I imagine he'll have a similar kind of run to what we've seen, really. They'll get a few good results, they'll have a few bad results. I think the benefit he probably will have is that this isn't the Chelsea that had people like John Terry, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, those big personalities. This is quite a young Chelsea squad, and I think that will work in his favour. Because I wouldn't envy him going into a dressing room with big, big characters. I don't think he'd last very long at all in that kind of scenario, because the players would kind of run the dressing room. So no, I hate to say it, mate, but I'd be amazed if he's still there in 2 years' time. I'd be absolutely stunned.
If he does, then fair credit to him. He's really taken the bull by the horns. Joe, the other managerial casualty obviously was Ruben Amorim. This one had been on the books for a while, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back was obviously his press conference at the Leeds game we just talked about. How do you assess the fallout of Ruben Amorim's departure and also the look for the new manager? Because obviously what they've said is they're going to have an interim manager in Darren Fletcher. There's talk of an interim manager in that state, like the Ralph Rangnick. But obviously then they're looking towards the summer, and the names obviously linked have been Oliver Glasner, Gareth Southgate. It's a mess at Man United, isn't it? You cannot say anything else, but it is a mess. You've got a very new management backroom staff in Oman Barada, who's not been a CEO. Jelson Wilcox has had barely little experience at Southampton. The general consensus is that both sides are culpable. Amorim should not have really spoken out of turn, and he's not got the cash in the bank as you said it with Maresca had. He hasn't won a trophy. He lost the trophy actually last season against Tottenham. And he really shouldn't have been as outspoken as he was. He hasn't justified it enough to say, I can be the manager. Most people who've become, from coach to manager, Arteta's a perfect example, have delivered some kind of improvement. Where do you stand with Ruben Amorim's departure? Was it the right move, or is it kind of both sides have got faults?
I think it's the right move, mate, because as much as we enjoy the Man United circus at the moment, that is a massive club, and there is no way that they should have had 15th, was it they finished last year? Man United finishing 15th is just, it's growing up, that was something I never thought I'd see, ever. So they've been terrible for a while now, mate. So Amorim, for me, doesn't really have a leg to stand on. I don't really understand why he felt he could come out and say the things he did, because you've done absolutely nothing to kind of back yourself or justify those comments. So there's a part of me that probably thinks he's probably had enough and almost wanted to be sacked. But then equally, you can go towards like the Man United board and you can say, well, you've employed this bloke. You knew the system he was going to play. You know what he wanted to do. Then come the summer, you've not, I mean, they spent a lot of money on the kind of attacking options, but they've not brought in anyone who could help fulfill that system that the manager's going to play. So again, it just shows a real lack of kind of unity within the club. It shows a real lack of direction. So yeah, it's a bit of a circus over there, mate, and it's lovely to see. Let's not beat about the bush. It's brilliant. I'm all for it. But it sounds like
we all like the downfall.
Ollie's been linked
we all
to
love the downfall, don't we? So.
Yeah, Darren Fletcher's been linked to it. Solskjaer's been linked to it. I saw Michael Carrick's name mentioned as well. Liam Rossini, obviously Chelsea. All these clubs have seen Arsenal and Arteta, and that's the route they're all taking now. They're all thinking, right, let's get a young coach in, a young manager, and let's try and do the Arsenal model. We'll give them a few years, and hopefully they can do it, because we're at the top of the tree currently, mate, and we can, considering where we were from years ago, we can now look down at all these people and just laugh, because not long ago we was in the trenches, mate, and it's so nice to be out of them.
So, Joe, let's talk about our next game in the Premier League, and it is a big one. Liverpool at home at the Emirates on a cold Thursday night, and it is going to be cold. We both talked about this.
It is going to be Baltic, mate. It is going to be so cold.
You need to grow a beard. You needed to grow a beard before this, didn't you? Really, mate,
the beard. I'm going to get a balaclava, mittens,
snood. I'm getting snood, balaclava, long johns. Hey, if you don't diss long johns in this weather, because you need it right now.
What we need is, I'm hoping Arsenal do their pre-game pyro, but just someone leaves it on for the entire game.
Yeah, just turn it.
So if we could have a ring of fire around the pitch while the game's going on,
on the roof. Why not do a ring of fire on the roof? It's like a central heating thing.
Anything to keep us warm, mate. I'm just pitch side, flames everywhere. It's a lovely heat that comes off before the game. So if they could, like I said, leave them on for the 90, I'm sure the fans would appreciate it.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? But no, it's a really big one, isn't it? Because a little bit of revenge mission, but again, we look at Liverpool's form and they're not in the greatest of form. We know that. But they are a dangerous side. We know this is not going to be an easy game. I think on Twitter and social media, it's all the talk of, oh, we should be smashing them. They've been terrible and all that. I think if you know your football and you've looked at it in the past, it is never that easy, is it, Joe? It is going to be a cagey game, cat and mouse. but we should have the quality. We are a better team, aren't we, overall than Liverpool this season? We should be getting charged. We should pay respect, but I don't think we should pay the level of respect that we gave at Anfield. We should be going at them, shouldn't we, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And the big difference again, mate, is that our squad is pretty much there now. I mean, other than Calafiori and obviously Havertz, who's on borderline returning, I think everyone's pretty much available currently. So, touch wood, we're going into a game against Liverpool with pretty much everyone who we'd want available. So, yeah, I think, like you said, mate, you're respectful of Liverpool because you know the quality they have. You know, regardless of sort of the season they're having, they've got some brilliant players. They're the reigning champions. They would absolutely love to kind of use this match to make a mark. If they're not going to win the league, okay, fine. But I'm sure they'll be looking at this going, Arsenal top, let's just show everyone what we're about. This is a good opportunity for us to come off the back of that Fulham game and really sort of, show people who we are and what we're about. But obviously they're missing Salah. They're missing Isak, who's obviously had that unfortunate injury as well. So
possibly Ekatike because he had a hamstring injury, but he won't be 100%. He won't be 100% for sure.
No, he'll be a big miss because Ekatike is a very good player.
But he also needs that kind of. He needs quick movement. He needs quick movement as well, so he'll need his hamstring. So if he's
annoyingly,
not,
he would have fit in beautifully at Arsenal, mate.
He looks like a good player. He looks like a very good buy.
But yeah, I mean, they've got a few injury problems. We, for some miraculous reason, aren't on the back end of a massive injury crisis at the moment.
Don't say that, Joe. Don't say, Joe. You should be crossing your fingers at that point, saying that
we're in a good place currently. So no, we've got every reason to go into this game really confident. We managed to obviously give Saka and Trossard a bit of a rest the other night as well, so I think that could play a big part. Obviously, Gyökeres came off. So yeah, I think like we said, we can be respectful of Liverpool, but we don't need to show them too much. We still look to start quickly, go at them, really test them, put them under big pressure. Because we've seen this isn't Liverpool last year. They are struggling somewhat. So we've got the players and we're in form. Confidence is there. We're at home sort of advantage. And we do owe them one for Anfield because we had a bad performance that day and they obviously won with that.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't a bad performance, was it? We were on course for a draw, which away is not bad. But we came up against a worldie, didn't we? A worldie free kick.
We owe them one, mate. We owe them. So let's bring them to the Emirates and like you said, we're not going to smash them. It's not, you don't see smashings when two massive clubs like this meet because the two massive clubs, two brilliant teams. So I think we'll have to be a little bit wary. I mean, Wirtz, for all his criticism, he's been on a little run at the moment. He's scoring some goals and sort of making things happen in the final third for them.
Gakpo's always annoying.
Gakpo's a dangerous player, but I'd expect Timber to lock him down because Timber's been brilliant for us this year. Van Dijk, obviously, we know his quality.
But is Van Dijk the same Van Dijk as what he was? He seems to be the aura seems to be lost.
Maybe not consistently, mate. Maybe not consistently. I'll give you that. But I think he is still Virgil van Dijk. He's still an outstanding centre half. And if Gyökeres if he can occupy, like we've kind of said before, we'll move the goalposts for him, and we'll not say get a goal. If you can just occupy the defenders for us and open up space for the likes of Odegaard, potentially an Eze off the bench, Saka coming off the wing, then I'd be confident of us getting a positive result in this game.
I think we have to look at it positively. We've got the better squad in terms of form and movement. What it's going to come down to, I think, as well, is that we need to as you said, occupy Virgil van Dijk. Set pieces as well is a big thing. They just got rid of their set piece coach because of their performance from set pieces. At set pieces, they don't look as good. We need to take advantage. We are the best team in the league for set pieces. We've got to, take advantage of that, Saka, etc. I'm looking forward to Saka versus Kerkez because I don't think Kerkez is very good as a defender. He's good going forward, but defensively they struggle. And I think as well, if you can occupy Van Dijk, then you take out, you're leaving Kerkez one-on-one, which is what Saka wants to feed off of. An Odegaard as well coming into that pocket. You know how it will operate. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be cold. It's freezing, as we said. But I'm hoping that the action on the pitch is spicy and hot we come out with a victory. What are you going to... So, Joe, we haven't got our predictions going, but we're going to do it for this one. What is your prediction for this game?
I'm going to go 3-1 to the Arsenal.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm going to go. You know what I'm going to go for, Joe. You know it. It's.
I wonder what could it be.
I'm going 2-1 because I got to stick with what I know. 2-1. 3 points is all I care about. I only care about 3 points because that's all that
Ultimately,
matters. Right?
mate, but that's all it's going to come down to again. When we do our review of this game, if we've played terribly, if we've looked awful, we've not clicked, we've not created chances, we've looked a bit ropey at the back, but have come out of a win, we are not going to care. At this stage of the season, like we said, get the wins in. Just keep racking up 3 points, keep building pressure.
Yeah.
And that is all we can do.
That's all we can do. And if you're lucky enough to go to the Emirates, there is going to be a fan-led display, obviously, hopefully Tifo, etc. I think there's going to be some, cards, etc. Make sure you get there early, get inside, create the atmosphere. We want a big atmosphere. This is a big game. Doesn't matter where Liverpool are. Liverpool is still one of the big teams, and we want to show we are the best team. We're going up against the current champions, but we know where we stand. We know how good we are. Let's show them how good we can be. Let's deliver on Thursday. It's going to be a big one, and then we'll look ahead to our FA Cup fixture on the weekend. But I think it's going to be a fabulous. I'm so looking forward to it. I know it's going to be cold and we're going to be freezing, etc. But I can't wait, to be honest. I cannot wait. It's hopefully an early birthday present. My birthday falls on the Friday, so hopefully an early one that we can get 3 points and I can celebrate appropriately. But for now, Joe, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much to everyone who's listened, who has watched, taken part in the YouTube channels, who's been contributing in the comments. We really do appreciate any feedback. If you do like us, please do consider subscribing to us on the various channels: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube. Make sure you keep smashing those likes. We really appreciate it. But for now, we look forward to the next game. And as always, I can't do the catchphrase anymore. I can't do it. I have to come up with something.
End the stream, yeah, you're done.
End the stream.
The catchphrase doesn't exist.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Bye for now. End the stream. End the stream now.